Terry was going to come on, and I believe Lolita as well, maybe a little late. But we have Matthew as well. He was there. So day one of Power, obviously that was the VIP day. That was on the 6th, which was Wednesday, I believe. Started at 9 and then around 3 or 4 o'clock. Myself and Brad were there. Main things with that was we did breath work, and then we did the ice bucket. I did 5 minutes. Brad broke the record. He did 11 minutes. So shout out to Brad. In the ice bucket, it was set to 36 degrees. I guess ice buckets are usually set to 40 degrees. Ours was set to 36 degrees for some reason. And then apparently they're supposed to bring little booties for your feet because within 30 seconds you lose all feeling in your feet. You're supposed to bring booties so like your toes don't fall off, but they're like, oh yeah, we forgot it today. So that was cool. And they told us kind of after the fact. But yeah, so good job to Brad. I think he took a nap in this ice bucket. He was kind of chilling, mind over matter and all that good stuff. So good job, Brad, there. Mingling and all that stuff, connections and stuff. I think I posted most of the photos or whatever, right? So obviously I engaged with Joel Gossett, met Solar Mike in person, which was pretty neat. Mike's a great guy. Obviously he's been a guest on here. And let's see. So 3 people that I connected with that wanted to do a training with us. That was Francisco Hara. Obviously, he's done a training with us before. He wants to do another training. Joel Gossett, he's open to do a training. And Brady Anderson, myself and Brad had a good conversation with Brady Anderson. So a little background on Brady. So he actually used to run the installs for Solar City back in the day, 2010s or whatever, right? He branched off and started his own company and a successful company for the last, 5, 6 years. I believe he sold that off. And Powur recently just hired him about 6, I think he said May. So 5 months ago to kind of take over the installation side. So updates on installations, obviously that's probably been the biggest issue that we've been running into. Everything else has been phenomenal. The pay, the flow, the the online platform and everything like that. All that has flowed really well. But the biggest issue that everyone has been the installation and operation side. So Brady informed us that they dropped, oh, there's Terry coming in. So they dropped the 20% bottom performing project managers in the company. So if there was, I don't know, 200 project managers, they dropped the bottom 20%. So I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't know how many project managers there are. Let's say there's 200. So that means they fired 40 of the worst performing ones. So a lot of us are seeing, hi Terry. So a lot of us, I'm talking about Brady right now. So a lot of us are seeing new project managers kind of take over. It's a good thing. That means that your previous project manager was trash, and now they're bringing in a much better project manager to kind of take over that project for you. So I know there's some frustration because obviously when there is that transition, there is kind of a time period where maybe the PM needs a week or two just to kind of catch up. Okay, we have an MPU with this. Okay, we have a roof with this, right? Give them some space, just communicate clearly with them, right? Give them space, give them patience, all that good stuff. They are kind of taking over this project, but that does mean that they are a better performing project than your previous project manager. So it's huge. It's very exciting. Along with that, they also dropped the 40% bottom performing installers as well. I know we've had some issues, we've had some concerns, like sometimes the installer just seems like they're not prioritizing our projects, right? Like, oh, we're just kind of at the bottom of the list and just kind of things like that. So they dropped the 40% bottom performing installers. It kind of sucks too, because he said that a lot of the installers that were dropped were kind of the mom and pop shops. And what it was just communication. There's black holes, just kind of just a void with that. Because what would happen is the dude that's installing is a dude that's the owner. He also runs the back office. He also does the site survey. He also did, right? It's just kind of wearing too many hats, and that's kind of unfortunate when you have this install company that maybe 3 people work there. And so with that, kind of the companies that already have a good flow and they already have 4 or 5 crews running, they have a permit runner, they have an engineering department, they have this, they have that. Those are the companies that they are going to focus on, and those are the companies that they're going to build with. And pretty much the dialogue is, hey, you have 5 to 7 crews now, get to 7 to 10 crews by next month, right? Because we're just going to load you up. So that's kind of the concept there. And these are, like I said, companies that have already performed really well for us. And so that was huge. That was a huge conversation. That was a conversation Brad and I had. Terry, did you have any feedback for VIP Day? I'm talking about VIP Day. Do you have any feedback? 30 seconds or so?
Lots of fun. That was
Okay.
really great. I think you
Yeah.
hit the nail on the head with Brady. I mean, VIP Day was a lot of self-care, which I thought was very interesting. And that, the entire thing was just about taking care of ourselves. And the breathing exercises that we did were awesome. And it was great to learn
Yeah.
that. And the just the team building that they had was a lot of fun. And I think you talking with Brady, that was exciting. That was a great update. Brady's really excited about being here. Can you hear me? Because my microphone, I realized, was kind
Yeah.
of far. Okay.
That's a lot better now, but yeah,
Okay,
yeah, we
all
heard
right.
you.
Hey, okay. So it was a lot of great information that Brady gave us. Everything that you just shared was good. So no, I think you did a great job. That'd be
Okay,
my update too. Exactly what you said.
awesome, awesome. Brad, anything? 30 seconds.
No, it was just overcoming your challenges and your difficulty and just
Yeah,
being able to breathe and kind of take in what's difficult and then be able to push through it in the ice when it's that cold. You have the self-discipline, and the idea was, we all face fear and pain, but by overcoming fear and pain, we can achieve any goal we want. So it was a powerful lesson. It was like more real than just if someone told you that. You felt it, and if you concentrated and you got through the ice and whatever, it helped you to kind of feel like you could conquer anything. So just a good object lesson and a good experience. And
yeah, and that's kind of something that kind of caught us by surprise as well. As we were expecting like some, I don't know, leadership meeting, some like Brad said, someone on his, kind of talking to us, just this is what you need to do to be a good leader and things like that. But no, they had us do breathing, and we got high off our own breath, which was interesting. Terry and I we got these cool little nightcap little things to cover eyes for sleeping, which is kind of neat. And they threw us in ice buckets, which was cool. So
Oh,
I
okay.
thought that was interesting.
Hold
Oh,
on. That stealing the mask thing, I got permission to
okay,
take.
okay, okay.
We
That's
had permission from the people that that
yeah.
so I
I'm
guess you
borrowing. I'm
weren't
going to return mine.
I guess you weren't that lady thought you weren't supposed to take it, but they told me yes, you can
Brad,
have
that's
the
his.
mask.
Yes, there's Brad right there. Yeah.
So
Pitch black, guys. Pitch
I
black. Yeah.
I really think that that one lady you spoke with was incorrect because they were sweaty by the time we were done. It was a lot of
Right.
people. I can't imagine that they would want it back. So I just want to
Right.
say we're not thieves. We had the lady told us, and then the second lady said, "You know what? You're right. Okay, go ahead and keep the mask." So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't. I know that doesn't. I'm not trying to rebuke you on the call.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we're borrowing them. We're borrowing them.
You stole
We
it.
got permission.
Yes.
All right. Day number 2. This was 9/7. I believe that was Thursday. So they had this day, the end of the evening, 6, 7 o'clock, they had pretty much a live Power World presentation. But prior to that, for about maybe 3, 4 hours prior to that, they had a handful of breakout rooms. They had 4 or 5 different breakout rooms. I know I attended Spencer's NEM3 training. We've kind of already been through that, right? We know Spencer, he's great. He did mention that there is a new battery. It should be live on the platform, I believe, now. It is a 5 kilowatt battery, and it has double the output of any of their previous batteries. So you can go full backup with only 15 kilowatts of battery with this battery backup. Full backup, full home backup with 15 kilowatts. So 3 of these 5 kilowatt batteries. I spoke with him, as you guys would assume. He wants to do a training. I just texted him earlier today to get him on a training within the next couple weeks. So he's gonna train us on that 5 kilowatt battery. So that's gonna be huge. Make sure you're on it. Obviously, that's gonna save us a lot of money, save our customers lots of money. It's huge. With
Any
that,
idea on cost, Anthony?
no idea, no idea. I don't think they went over that. I think Brad got one too, but I got a little end phase flask from Spence, which is kind of cool. So yeah, pretty slick, pretty nice little flask. I got on my backpack. So there's that. I know Terry and Brad, I think they attended an enterprise training. Brad, you want 30, 60 seconds? You want to kind of go over that
yeah,
enterprise?
it was pretty interesting. Like, it looks like that's where the company's going. They said they have 350 enterprise accounts now. It's about 30% of the company's total revenue, and they're moving. They believe it'll be 50% within a year or two. And so, being able to have a whole organization sell kind of like as one of your like a group that you're mentoring or in your direct downline or your sponsored account, you know, the seller in Powur, and they may be able to have different sellers. They have flexibility on you know how they're able to compensate the people, and so that makes that allows some companies to come on and be able to do that. So they talked about being able to kind of look at that. What is your redline.com is a site that where it kind of shows you kind of how they kind of are adopting this option. They talked about remodeling companies, roofing companies, electrical companies, solar panel installers, HVAC, solar system, security system, real estate brokerage, mortgage brokerage, window installation companies, marketing companies, you know, so basically companies, I mean, it's a lot better than just having one person try to sell. You have a whole company selling for you. I see this as being a great opportunity for us if we can recruit these companies and have them kind of in our downline. I was impressed, you know, so they don't, it's like they get the equipment and a lot of companies are struggling right now. So instead of going out of business, we'll get the equipment for them and then we just pay them after the fact. So they don't have to struggle to be able to fund their equipment purchases. We handle that for them. And so I thought it was a great idea and something I want to do. I have a business to business background, but specifically with enterprise, I think this is a place that can help our team to grow a lot if we get some enterprise accounts on our
Sure.
kind of our downline. So that was impressive.
Yep, for sure. And that's huge. So there's what 8,000 reps or so within Power, 350 of them. So is that 3% of them are enterprise, but they're doing 30% of the revenue. So
I mean,
yeah,
it goes up to like 80% they might get, but there might be, you
I
know,
think
you
it's
might
based
get
on like a
60
megawatt a
deals,
month or
60
something.
deals a month instead of that, just having to deal with individual deals. It seems like a much easier way to kind of help the company grow. So good idea.
Yep. And then with that, with the enterprise as well, I connected with Curtis Bailey. He's based out of Colorado. Okay, he's based out of Colorado. He is an installer and he's an enterprise owner as well. And so he's also, I connect with him. He's willing to kind of meet with the team as well, do a sit down with us, kind of go over the enterprise, go over, kind of show us the back at the back end of the enterprise, what that looks like, and just kind of talk about obviously the benefits and kind of his talk track to recruit other electricians and solar companies and roofing companies and just kind of go over all those things with us. So positive stuff. Matt, did you attend a breakout room? I believe this was Thursday. Did you attend a breakout room or anything? Any feedback on the breakout rooms you attended?
Yeah, I did the Enterprise and the
Okay.
NEM 3.0
Okay.
and Span.
Okay.
You know, I think the big standout for Span was that we can avoid a main panel upgrade by using Span. I didn't know that until this. Like we can put like 15 kilowatts on a 100 amp panel if we just put it all on the Span. And I don't know where most people here are selling, but in California right now, we're waiting months to get a meter
Fees are
spot
killing
from
us
the
right now.
utility companies. So, you know, being able to avoid that wait time and being able to avoid additional charges for meter relocations was huge. And being able to do all that, you know, $4,700, you know, I mean, for here in California, it's only $700 more than a regular panel upgrade. So that was really exciting. And then, you know, throwing a car charger for $700, that's a slam dunk right there.
Yep.
So I'm pretty excited about starting to offer that Span panel and you know, include the car chargers. The end phase update, that's huge, being able to get so much power. You know, I just checked. I was curious because I didn't look at the pricing as well. It's about 16,000 for 16.8 or something like that for a 15 kilowatt. But it's just such a dramatically higher output than anything else. It's about 50% more than a Powerwall.
Well, either two Franklins is what, like 28K or three 10 kilowatt end phase or solar edge is around 35K. So that's almost half the price
Yeah.
for a whole house, which is huge. Yeah. And in regards to the Span, so I think Brad connected with the Span guy, the little truck that they had out there as well. And so he ran into an issue in the Bay Area where it's an MPU. They signed the change order. Now they're coming back with a relocation, which adds another 3-4 grand on top of the $3,500 MPU. Spread's like,
Yeah.
well, I could just do a Span and just avoid all this. So Yeah, that 4,500, $5,000 price tag, whatever it is, that's worth it when you're dealing with some ridiculous MPUs and just kind of all this stuff. So awesome, great feedback. Terry, any feedback on your breakout rooms?
Well, I think Matthew and Brad really did a great job summing those up. And you too. I think for me, the enterprise was super exciting. On my notes, I think Brad peeked at my notes. Either this, I was gonna say basically everything that Brad did. So good job summing that up. I think the thing about the enterprise that is just a neat realization is that it I think one of the things that they touched on was that it was removing cost from the business. And so not Powur's business, but that roofing company's business. So let's just say you did recruit a roofing company. And as you know, Anthony mentioned, you're getting it off of their entire organization, but also that roofing company is not having to buy panels. They're not having to get warehouse space. They don't have that cash going out into the product. Instead of having the warehouse being taken up by the solar projects, they can have that done by Powur. So it does cut down and remove that cost from the business, which means that it's a higher commission and profit for them. The other thing I thought that was really interesting was they've changed where you can pick how much you pay out to your sales team. So if you had, you know, sales reps on a certain commission structure where you wanted to pay them maybe $1,000 a sale instead of going by the Powur model, you can actually have your reps sell it and you can set their commission to 0 all the way up to 100%. And so they can also make it, instead of that money going directly to the rep, it can go to the company, then they pay the rep. So they did a couple little tweaks like that, which was really interesting. And
Here,
then
yeah, I
just
just
some,
had a quick question about installing solar on a house that has oh, sorry about that, guys.
Go ahead, Terry.
I think that was, you know, an important thing, but just to encourage you, you know, I know that there's so much here and there's so much opportunity, but one of the things that they said that I picked up on was to have long vision, but just short steps. So it's short steps, long vision. And so when you look back over what we've accomplished, I think, you know, Anthony, when he first got into Powur, it was Anthony, right? But you know, Anthony now has, I don't know, 150 people or something like that, just spread out. And Bo has, you know, 150 people or whatever it is, the huge teams. It didn't happen overnight. It's that they had long vision and they just took short steps. So if you're just starting out and you're overwhelmed, don't worry about it. Don't think, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do Powur enterprise or anything like that. Just take short steps. And then once you look over your shoulder at the year that's gone by, you'll see you've made a lot of progress. I think that's it for me for enterprise. I think everybody, okay, co-branded. And so instead of it just being Powur,
White label.
yeah, they can now white label it and have it as co-branded. So that company looks like they're offering their solar solution because of the co-branding. I thought that was really cool.
Bob's Electrical Company or HVAC company or whatever. And then I think there's like a little like power partner or something like that. So no, that's awesome. That's very positive. Cool. And then obviously they had the Power World or the Power Hour, excuse me, presentation that night around 6 or 7, which was you know, pretty much a live power presentation, which was neat. And then well, any feedback on that? I mean, I think we've all seen the Power Hours. Nothing. Okay. And then so Power World Day 3, that's the 8th, that would be Friday. Jonathan Budd, he went up, he talked about energy management, he talked about nervous system, kind of all that stuff. He talked about the polyvagal theory and the ventral vagal and the sympathetic and the dorsal vagal and all this mind stuff. It's Jonathan Budd, he went into all that stuff. I got power winning strategies. They kind of talked about, but for probably about 40 minutes, he kind of talked about kind of their goals and things that they're you know they're 12-month, 5-year, 10-year plans and things like that. And guys, a lot of it was based on operations. A lot of it was on operational excellence. I think they're kind of getting the memo that they can't grow as fast as they want to grow without the operations delivering. I know some of our reps have had frustrations or whatever, and may have went elsewhere, or quit, or took a break or whatever from solar because of some operational issues. But no, they're aware of it, they're focused on it, and they have a plan. And like I said, just talking to Brady just kind of offline was huge, even though we just recorded that. but yeah, no, it was, I think it was huge. And I see it kind of the route that they're taking, and I do like it. So here's actually, I've got notes right here of their plans. In 5 years, their goal is to exceed $1.5 billion in revenue, achieve EBITDA margins greater than 10%, 30,000 homes installed annually, 20,000 active sellers. Right now they're at about 8,000. 20,000 active sellers, and an industry-leading value proposition. So remember the flywheel, right? Right now they have 8,000 reps. The more reps they get means the more customers they get. The more customers they get, the more discounts they're able to get on panels and on batteries and span and this, that, and the other, right? The more that they get, they're able to go to installers and hey, we'll take on all the upfront costs, we'll take on all the risk, we'll take on the licensing, we'll take on the insurances. You install, we're going to pay you $5,000 an install, right? The more reps they get, then that means just more and more and more that this flywheel just kind of feeds into each other. So if their goal is 20,000 active sellers, that's we want to kind of be a part of that, right? If 5,000 could be a part of this team, that'd be huge for all of us. But then B, that's going to give us the opportunity to sell more, sell cheaper, have higher margins, all that stuff, have more partners. I mean, they announced a lot of partners this week as well, which is huge. So anything on that, Brad, Terry, on kind of the 5-year plan?
Yeah, I liked it too. And so they said that they had a company that was like a management consulting company come in and help him out. They said they spent $35,000. He said, I don't want to spend all that money, but he did it. And they gave him like all the goals you talked about. In addition to what you said, there's a couple things, other things I wrote down is that they're very focused on specifically who they're going to target. So they said they want to do residential homeowners in the United States.
That's
and
it.
so
No commercial.
Instead of commercial or instead of other products outside
Philippines
of solar roofing and things, and instead of like going international, they want to focus on residential homeowners in the United States because that's really the bread and butter of Powur. And that's not going to change with additional products or commercial or other countries or whatever. They want to focus on what they do well. And they said that the key capabilities were to have excellent product leadership and management. They want to have great software development. The one I liked is that they want to focus on ops excellence. And so they want to deliver like top industry standards. And I see that they care about that, and they're trying to do that. People I talk to, and just to kind of some of the things we talked to Brady and stuff, that the people, they want to have a culture oriented to attract and retain people, and then world-class monitoring and community building. And so there's kind of like a plan to be able to, he said that FDR wrote out on a napkin how he was going to win World War II, and he followed the plan, and so he had a 12-month plan. He says, the question that we should ask is, what does winning look like for me? And then implement that into our sales and our strategy. So it was good stuff.
It was pretty cool because he showed the napkin that Roosevelt wrote on for the World War II plan, where he need to, it's 10 words or whatever, right? 10. And so Jonathan Budd's like, I did the same thing. So he had his plan written on a napkin as well and showed the picture, which was pretty neat. I hope they had that picture somewhere. It's pretty cool. But yeah, no, so it was awesome. And then also he kind of laid out the next 5 years as well. Obviously, they're going to focus on storage, more storage options, better pricing, things like that. Roofing, smart panel. Obviously, they added EV chargers, things like that. 2024, they want to add on some more leasing and finance options in 2024. 2025, this is a plan, this is a goal, but they're planning on having their own internal lease, in-house leasing program, just a Powur lease, right? That's a goal by 2025. then more storage options, more roofing and better roofing department, things like that. 2026, this is a plan. Security systems, being able to offer security systems, more smart panel options, EV chargers, community solar. 2027, electric appliances, right? Energy efficient electric appliances, HVAC, and there's a couple other things that I can't read. My handwriting sucks if you guys don't know that. But anyways, yeah, so they have a plan these next 4 or 5 years to kind of add all these products slowly, right? They're not just gonna boom, all right, we offer HVAC and energy efficient this, energy efficient that. They have a kind of a plan laid out of this. And then okay, yeah, so great stuff there. I think it was good. The beginning stuff, the neurological, all that stuff, that's cool. But you know, I feel like the back half of that was a lot of meat and potatoes, kind of what they're going for. Brunasso, he talked as well. Yeah, he talked about 3, just the power of 3, and so he's talking about getting 3 sales, 3 recruits, and mentor 3 deals every month, and in a year you make anywhere from $400,000 to $900,000. And he said if you peeled back on that, 1 sale, 1 recruit, and 1 mentor deal is about $150,000 to $300,000 a year. So 1 sale, 1 recruit, and 1 mentor deal a month is $150,000 to $300,000 a year. That's 6 figures, guys. Obviously, there's activity behind it. Learn your numbers, learn all that stuff. I spent all week with Brad. He was kind enough to drive me up, and we split a room and stuff. We had 2 separate beds. But Brad knows his numbers, guys, right? And he's professional. He knows his numbers. So guys, learn your numbers. How many engagements does it take to get 1 lead, to get 1 bill? How many bills does it take to get 1 appointment? How many appointments does it take to get 1 sale? So on and so forth. And even sales, how many sales does it take to get 1 install, right? Because you close 10, not all of them are going to install. There's going to be cancels, there's going to be issues, blah, blah, blah. So learn your numbers and yeah, get to that goal of 1 sale, 1 recruit, and 1 mentor deal. And Brunasso made $2.5 million in Powur in 3 years. 2.5 million. So congrats to Brunasso on that. Solar Edge, they went up as well. They had a presentation. Oh, Brad, did you have anything on the Brunasso thing?
I'm interested in seeing if Terry had anything on Jonathan Butt or Renasso. Did you have anything, Terry, you wanted to say?
Not so much them. I have one for somebody else,
Oh, okay.
but not them.
No, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I had for Renasso too. He said that he's talking about the power of 3. So he said became free in 3 years. He talked about his 3 main sources of finding people or networking events, calling referral partners like realtors, lenders, HVAC, and then also social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and so yeah, I mean, stuff that we kind of already, I guess, kind of do, but it was good to kind of see his business plan and how it worked out for him. So interesting.
Good stuff to him. Congratulations to him. And Solar Edge, they went up. So there's a price drop on batteries for Solar Edge, which I love it. Right? We got Franklin, we got Solar Edge, we got Enphase, we got all these guys competing, and it's a beautiful thing, right? Because they're all trying to just outdo each other. And that's what we need. We all win when they do that, right? So price drop on batteries. They officially released their EV charger. It's now live in the system. We spoke with Michelle as well. Michelle's wanting to do a training with us on the EV, on the batteries, kind of whatever we need. And then there's an Israel trip, which is kind of just out of nowhere. There's a trip between now to the end of the year. I believe it's the most batteries sold, I believe. But the most Solar Edge batteries sold between now and the end of the year. You get a free all expense paid trip to Israel, I think for like a week or something like that. Yeah, so everyone qualifies. You do need to attend 3 trainings. There's a QR code somewhere out there. I'm sure Michelle, when she meets with us, she'll provide us with that. You do need to attend 3 Solar Edge trainings to kind of qualify for that trip. And then obviously, and I think it's like the top 10 sellers. It's pretty generous. It's like top 10 sellers for our company, Solar Edge specifically. So yeah, I think that's pretty slick. Anything, Brad, on Solar Edge? think pretty to the point.
No, same thing. I just said that the trainings are every Tuesday, starting this next Tuesday. It's the 19th, the 26th, and then October 3rd. So every Tuesday, starting this coming Tuesday. So I registered for it.
Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And
Can
then
you share that link in our group, please?
yeah,
Brad?
Brad, if you could share that link.
In our,
I
think
don't
there's
know
a
how
QR
to. I
code.
mean, I got the thing on my phone from the QR code, but if someone, I'm not the technology guy. If someone can help me do that, I'm happy to do it. But
Okay.
yeah,
I may
can
have
still-
taken a picture of the QR code, so I'll see. Yeah, okay, so if someone could maybe remind me after the meeting, and I may have taken a picture of the QR code. All right, and then Enphase went up. So it's funny, right after Solaris, Enphase went up. Ragu went up. Guys, Ragu is a genius. I love the guy. He's a co-founder of Enphase, and he's just talking about NEM3 being the best thing that happened to the industry. It's just going to allow us to grow faster. I mean, he's got a very interesting perspective on NEM3 because obviously we know what happened in California is going to follow the other states over the next probably 18 to 36 months. Every other state's going to experience the same changes. So Ragu's just kind of talking about that. Talk about obviously the IQ battery 5P. That's what's called IQ battery 5P, most powerful battery that they've made. And they kind of talked about that. Let's see. He's kind of just giving us a lot of stats like on what's going on with NEM3 and things like that. And California requires 4 gigawatts per hour from afternoon to evening, which is just insane. Okay, so yeah, so they doubled the power output for this. There's a hardwired communication. It's more flexible. Obviously, you can do 5, 10, 15. A lot of times, obviously, Franklin, and I love Franklin, but you're at 13 and then you have to jump up to 27 kilowatt and then jump up to 40. With this, you can kind of be in between 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's a lot more flexibility with that. Industry leading 15-year warranty. 15-year warranty on this battery, guys. It's huge. And then they mentioned the cycles. I forgot what the cycles was as well. I think it's like 6,000 cycles or something like that. But 15-year warranty on that 5 kilowatt battery, guys. Huge. And they have a power control system, so no need for an MPU as well. So no need for an MPU as well because of their power control system. And they gave the dimensions of it as well. Brad, any feedback on Ragu? I know you love Ragu as much as I do. But yeah, no, Ragu's awesome. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, the battery. He talked about the battery, which is pretty cool. 7.86 kilowatts continuous, 5.36 kilowatts at the peak. Greater offset. Yeah, I mean, the opportunity is huge. That 4% adoption of solar in the US, and they're building a whole home, an Enphase home, you know what I mean? So I thought that was pretty exciting. And it's going to continue to get higher as people get heat pumps and EVs and everything. So
they announced also that they're making a plant in America, correct? I think next year, 2024, they're gonna have a plant in America to where they're gonna manufacture all this at home over here. So that's huge as well. All right, and then we had our first lightning strike.
I just want to say, you could tell with him, this is like what's fun for him, and he's passionate about it. He loves the whole energy thing in a way that almost no one I've ever seen does. He like eats, sleeps, and drinks. He loves it. You know what I mean? So he's really passionate. So it makes me want to sell Enphase, just how passionate he is about constantly improving and doing better. So I mean, I got a lot out of that. Just his energy is good.
I agree 100%. Yep. Man's a genius. Anytime he's on a training, whatever, or Powur has him, try to hop on that because he's a genius and passionate about this. All right, we had our first lightning strike, which was Tesla. We are officially partnered with Tesla. We can offer their Powerwalls now. I know it's a situation where we can argue which battery is the best and the worst and middle and all that stuff. And honestly, I think we all know that Tesla isn't necessarily the best. They have the best marketing, though. They have the best name that people recognize. So now instead of us, hey, I want a Tesla Powerwall, instead of us having to argue with them and try to prove Enphase is better, Solar is better, Franklin's better, we can just say, okay, here's a Tesla Powerwall, right? So I think it's huge. I am in contact with their trainer as well. He's in charge of training all of California, all that good stuff. But obviously, I told him we do Zoom trainings, and so we are going to work on getting him soon, within the next 2 to 3 weeks, to do a training with us. He says he needs at least an hour and a half, and he's just going to get all into the nitty gritty with Tesla, which I think this is huge. This is huge for branding. This is huge for all of us, name recognition for us as a company. So yeah, so we'll keep you posted when that training is. And then they also mentioned the Powerwall 2 is coming out soon. And they have a Powerwall Plus, which is going to have an integrated inverter and battery solution, which apparently is going to cut a bunch of cost and a bunch of this and communication issues and just all this crazy stuff. So they are working on that. I think that's coming out next year, which we will be able to offer that as well. So once again, just all these companies are trying to top each other, and I love it. It's a beautiful thing. Now we got Tesla, we got Franklin, we got SolarEdge, we got Enphase, and they're all just trying to top each other, and it's beautiful. Brad, Tesla, anything?
I just want to say the Powerwall 2 is what they're currently selling. It's not coming. It is.
Or Powerwall, oh, excuse me, yeah. So,
So-
Powerwall Plus is what's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, 13.5 kilowatt battery. And the Powerwall Plus, they're saying that at some point they're going to have inverters so they can compete with Enphase and SolarEdge. So the Powerwall Plus would be the battery plus inverter, which I don't think is yet, but it is coming.
Yeah, I
So
think that one's next year. Yeah. Yep. And then they announced some decreases in some of our products. So the REC panels went from 52 cents down to 46. The 400s, the 405s went from 51 cents, to 46. Jinko panels, the 385 and the 390s, went from 42 to 39 cents. So we're back in the 30-cent range for the first time in about 18 months, guys, on panel cost. So I think this is good, right? I mean, there's been a lull these past few months because of NEM and just kind of affected the whole industry, I feel. There's been a lull, but with that, stock is starting to go up and our panel costs are starting to go up. Just kind of all these things are going to even out. I tell everyone all the time, I think this next spring and summer is going to be huge for us, for all of us. It's going to be like nothing ever happened in the industry. I really do think that. So we just got to these next 6 months just kind of power through, get what deals we can. Come March, April, May, it's just going to be boom, 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 boom. Because people are still going to get their crazy bills and stuff. So yeah, so Jinko's back down. The span panel's 15% cheaper now. 15% cheaper. I think Matthew kind of brought that up a little earlier. And then the Franklin battery got a price decrease as well. 8% decrease on the Franklin battery. So these guys are just at each other. They're just kind of racing, right? It's like the Cars movie when there's a three-way tie, you know, if you guys watch the Cars movie. Yeah, so just they're all competing with each other, and it's awesome. There's also a new sales tool and a 3.0 cheat sheet live in knowledge base. So that was day 3. Any other feedback, Terry, Brad, before we move on to the next day?
Are we talking about the
Okay.
new sales tools or no? Because
Yeah, I didn't really take much notes on it. If you have notes on that, because I know there's a few meetings as well I missed. So if I missed anything, Brad, feel free to
yeah, no, I got a lot out of that. They were talking about the 3.0 cheat sheet, like you said.
oh, that's yeah.
And then they talked about well, I don't know, I have Jim Bunch, happy, healthy, wealthy, they have to overcome doubt, fear, anxiety, Will. So but then Cami Bamey is the one who went into, I don't know if that's your next thing, right? But is that part of what you're covering or no?
I got that part on day 4.
Okay, that's
Cami
fine. No,
stuff.
that's all I have.
Did you speak on day 3? Because I didn't take notes on that.
I don't know what day it was.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I know Cami spoke day 4. That's what she said. And then, but wait, there's more. All right. All right, so day 4, and guys, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, feedback or whatever, please let me know. We could stop. All right, so day 4, that was Saturday. Cami, which I think I did miss the first speaker. It may have been Jim Punch, like what Brad was saying. So Cami did go up. They had some slick way of saying what they want the platform to be, sales enablement for solar professionals or whatever, right? So that's kind of their goal and what they're focusing on, right? They want to make our jobs as salesmen to be as easy as possible, to be fluid as possible. Obviously the goal is we just sell a project and it just kind of takes over, right? And all our tools are in one place. And that's obviously the idea behind vision and just kind of all these other things. So they said that there's 4 pillars of resources that we need to close more deals. That's knowledge, that's tools, that's content, and there's community. Knowledge, tools, content, community. So, and then they talked about the marketing funnel. It's kind of the pillars of the marketing funnel. So they're going to provide us a new platform tools. If you guys haven't noticed, if you guys haven't logged in the past week or so, they actually just updated the platform as well while we're there. Was funny, I think Friday night we're all hanging out together, and I went to pull up the platform to pull up a project, and it just looked totally different, and it just kind of threw me off. But anyways, but it's all updated. There's a lot more vision, it's a lot slicker. We can set reminders, we can set follow-ups. So if we can set notes for specific projects now. So if we're pitching a deal, we find out their dog's name is Bluey, and we find out they're they have 5 kids. We find out they're buying an EV charger in November. We can put all these notes in the platform attached to that project, and then we find out, hey, we just pitched the deal. We need to follow up Tuesday at 5. We can put that as a reminder. Hey, pitch deal, follow up at 5. Right? We can set all these things now directly in the platform, which I think is huge. They also talked about getting a direct act. So okay, so if a tier 1 can assign a tier 3 and schedule appointment directly in the platform as well through the tier 3's calendar, which I think is huge. Which I always tell reps, especially when they're working with me, I always tell them, never let my schedule just kind of like stop the customer's, appointment or whatever, right? Never worry about my schedule, just schedule whatever's best for the customer. And if it's not me, Terry, Brad, Jim, just kind of any of these other mentors, can just kind of fill in, right? So like if customers like, oh, I'm only available Monday at 5 and I have something going on, don't let me stop that appointment from taking place. We can assign a new mentor. Obviously, we need to communicate all that. Don't just assign new mentors and blah, 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 and tag 10 mentors on the same project. Please don't do that. We've had reps do that in the past. It gets very confusing and very frustrating. But yeah, so just a little note, if you're working with a mentor, even if they brought you on, don't let that mentor schedule stop you from getting a good appointment time for a customer, if that makes sense. But anyways, yeah, so there's going to be a bunch of new, well, there already is a bunch of new updates in the platform. I recommend walking through all that. You can send emails from the platform now directly to customers. In Knowledge Base, they have a bunch of templates of emails to send to customers. And they talked about the marketing funnel, the different layers. Bo could probably talk about that. He probably knows all that. Obviously, there's cold leads, warm leads, hot leads, and things like that. So there's emails for your cold leads. There's emails for your warm leads. There's emails for your hot leads. Emails for leads you just presented. Emails, right? So there's all these templates within Knowledge Base that you can access. Obviously, like I said, activity log, history, homeowner notes, task list. Before I move on to the next, but wait, there's more. Brad, did you have any feedback on that?
I don't know what everything you're gonna say now, but I mean, I have other things, but they did say that the first of the pillars is like they want to get higher conversion rates, lower cancellation rates, better and more reviews. And I don't know if you're gonna talk about the blog and the videos and stuff.
That's the but wait, that's more. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, obviously they care about us being more successful and they're building a platform that can be even, it was already good before, but I think the post sales, when you look at post sales list, it is kind of everything is the same. And so having it separated by the people you're trying to sell to versus the people you already sold that are not yet installed does make a difference. And you can kind of get to the point faster and it makes it more relevant. And, it does make it seem like that. I did try to send some tickets this week and they weren't going right the way they normally did. So there's probably some glitches to work out, but I think overall it's a lot better platform when you have like pre and post sales, because there's different problems and different challenges with different ideas, so.
Yep. And then she had mentioned that there is now a blog. Right now there's 15 or so articles, all with different different topics. So there may be a blog about Powur and their excellence and blah blah blah, and Fortune 500. There may be a blog about batteries, why batteries are so important. There may be a blog of why it's still good to go solar even there's not a lot of savings, right? So they have 15 different articles right now, and they're constantly going to be pushing out more and more articles. So we do have access to that. I believe that is connected with our landing pages as well. So you can share that blog attached to your profile or attached to your name or whatever. So if anyone clicks on anything or calls any phone number, it goes directly to you in your portal. So so they mentioned that. And then they also mentioned there's now specific landing pages within the platform as well that's personalized to us. Landing pages for real estate agents, home contractors, and solar pros. And then there's a new program platform landing page with a digital presentation as well. So kind of our business presentation, I guess you can say, right? So there's a digital presentation in there as well. And then there is, I'll just kind of go through this. There's essentially a Netflix, a Powur Netflix, I guess now. And right now there's 130 plus videos in this Powur Netflix, which we all have access to. There's 25 different presenters, the Brunassos, Solar Mike, JC Rangel, 25 different presenters, Joel Gossip, 7 different categories. And these are anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes, right? So if you got someone that's new, it's very, very easy for someone to come in. You got someone that's new that wants to learn how to recruit, someone that's new that wants to learn how to lead generate, someone that's new that wants to close, someone that's new that wants to this, social media, all this stuff. It's very, very easy to just boom, let me watch this quick 5-minute video. Let me watch this quick 3-minute video. Let me watch this quick 7-minute video. From someone that is top earning knowledge base. Yeah, it's all in knowledge base. It should all be in there. Yes. Brad, any feedback on that? So that's, I think,
good explanation. Yeah, it's exciting.
oh yeah, and then there's a new homeowner presentation video as well. It's actually really nice. It's a nice 2-3 minute kind of breakdown of solar, why Powur, why solar, why us, just kind of things like that. It does kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, we're not working for XYZ company to where we only work with this finance, we only work with this term, we only work with this interest rate, we only work with this panel, only work with this battery. I mean, we have 4 or 5 battery options now. We have 2 different inverter companies. We have 5 or 6 different lenders, right? We have all this different stuff that we're able to offer, and the video really touches on that. Why it's advantageous to kind of go through us. That we're not working for any one company. So really slick stuff. I mean, I love Cami. If you guys heard her speak or spoke with her, she is awesome. She is passionate, and yeah, these are all tools that are going to make our jobs a lot easier in recruiting and training and just kind of everything. Brad, Terry, any feedback on the Cami presentation?
It's just kind of cool. It's like a cartoon, so
Little
you know
video.
know the person. It's just it's easy to follow and interesting.
Yeah. Yep. It's really one lane.
Bo is asking questions though in the chat, Anthony. I don't know if you saw that.
Powur calendar. I assume the Solar Edge training. I assume so. It's probably in the Solar Edge training. But yeah, I'll look for that QR code and try to post it if I have it. And the knowledge base, I believe so. I don't have notes, or I didn't write down. Matt, great meeting you, brother. We'll see you again. I didn't write down where it was located at, so but I assume it's all in knowledge base as well. Everything that we're talking about should be. I mean, everything they talked about was live as of Powur World, so it's in there. All right, and then Charles Thompson went up there and kind of yelled at us for 20 minutes, which was fun. So Charlie, he just kind of talked to us about what not to do, what to do, staying calm under pressure, just kind of things like that. Be the warrior that the homeowner needs, which I agree with. I mean, I've worked with reps in the past, newer reps, that maybe something happened, right? Oh, we need to do a re-roof, right? Customer calls the rep, and the rep, oh my goodness, right? It's just freaking out, calls me freaking out, customers on the phone freaking out. It's just like, we have to be the professionals. We have to be the pillars in this situation, right? So I agree with that 110%. Customer calls us. Oh, the electrician said I need an MP. Oh, they said I need a relocation. Oh, they said I need a new roof. Oh, I paid for the new roof, and then they said that I need I dry rot damage, so I need another $2,000 to fix. We have to be the warrior. We do have to be the pillar in the situation. He also did talk about how we communicate, just kind of processes. I think we went over the process a few times. So what Charles says, what he does, something happens, right? Hey, we got a $4,000 relocation. We got a $20,000 roof that we now need to do for a project that we weren't anticipating to do. So he will record a voice message. He'll drop his F-bombs, he'll say this, he'll say that, everything that he wants to say and do, tell the PM, tell operations, whatever, right? He'll do a voice message and he'll send it to himself. He said he'll wait anywhere from 4 to 24 hours before emailing anyone, before doing a ticket or anything. And then he'll listen to that voice message and then be like, oh, right. Oh, I can't believe I was going to say that. So with that, you know, I do agree with some of these practices. And then he'll respond to the email, he'll respond to the ticket, just kind of in a calm, cool, collected way. Don't be reactive, don't escalate unless the time has passed, right? Obviously, we understand, set a ticket, they have 24 hours, right? If you set a ticket on Friday, that means they have till Tuesday, right? Because Friday doesn't count, weekend doesn't count, 24 hours starts Monday, so they have till Tuesday, right? Once that happens, don't email Charles, don't email Bobby Smith, don't email Kevin Smoker, don't email Jonathan Budd, don't email any of these guys. Send an email to communication escalations at Powur, both singular, communication escalation at powur.com. That is the process. A lot of times when I've done that process and I haven't tagged Charles, I haven't tagged Bobby or anything like that, it gets resolved. We get some sort of response, something, right? So do that process. And he showed a few examples. Oh, and then if we have an issue the day of install, if there's an issue the day of install, right? Installer didn't show up, installer this, installer failed to, whatever, right? It's construction, guys. Something happens the day of install, call 866 go Powur. 866 go Powur. Don't call me, I'm not the installer. Don't call Charles, he's not the, right? It's just, we want to be efficient with some of our communication, some of the time, how we spend it, what we do with it. The way is 866 go Powur. They've installed issue. There's an issue before contract, help.powur.com, or send an email to support@powur.com. Okay. And obviously there's a communication, which we already kind of went over that. Make a ticket, issues and resolve, issues of this, whatever, communication escalation at powur.com. And remember, any active projects right now, it's unfortunate, but any active projects right now, there's been transitions. There is a new installer. There is a new PM attached to that. Give them some grace, give them some, like I said, they may need a week or so to kind of catch up. Sucks, it's going to get better before, or it's going to get worse, excuse me, before it gets better. And I think we're kind of in the middle of that, which I think the timing kind of works because it's slower due to NEM and all those things that took place and all those changes that took place. So be mindful of that. Call 866 go Powur. One MTM matrices. Let's see. Yeah, and then he kind of talked about some other stuff. Keep great mindset. You know, and changes will occur, right? Yeah. So, Brad, any feedback on that? I know it's kind of frustrating, but any feedback on that? Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, Anthony, can I
Yes.
interrupt? I'd step away for a second. I just came back. I wasn't quite sure what you were saying a minute ago. What?
Can you recap everything?
No. The only thing I want to ask you is, what if the customer has an issue that his rep isn't helping him? Do they have a resource?
That like the PM isn't helping, or like the mentor isn't, like what do you mean?
No, the consultant. If they're having an issue with the consultant.
I mean, I would say 866 go Powur. Like
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say just 866 go Powur, if anything.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks.
Or support@powur.com, communication escalation at powur.com, or help.powur.com. Those are like the main phone numbers and emails that they provided, just kind of the channels to go through.
All right, thank you.
Yep. After that, so we had great with Cammy. Charles kind of then Dean Rosenberg went up, and I think this was awesome with Dean. Obviously he's the chief tech officer, the CTO. And he just talked about operational excellence. He talked about different things that they have implemented and are implementing that, I mean, may seem simple, but just hasn't been happening, right? I mean, they talked about, soon they're working on instant scheduling for site surveys as well. They're going to have a way that you can just boom, instantly schedule a site survey. Customer gets a text, hey, you want a site survey Friday at 5. They then send a text out to all the ODSSs, and then one of the ODSs responds, and then okay, great, Jim just accepted to be your site surveyor. See you Friday at 5 or whatever, right? So they're working on that. That is going to be instant that they're working on, which is very exciting. Yeah, so they kind of talked about that process. So within about 5 minutes, you can have a site survey scheduled. After
It's already out.
minutes. Beautiful. Okay, so he said soon, so cool. It's already out. Let's see, just a lot more automations on the back. I mean, this is all tech stuff, right? So there's a lot more automations on the back end. Okay, yeah, so he did talk about phase 1. So Jim, that's probably what you're talking about. So they did talk about phase 1, and so that's what they had just launched. So that's implemented now. Brad, anything with Dean?
Yeah, there was one thing that I thought was pretty cool is if you had like you've always had to go through your project manager to do something, and then it sends it out. But if you want to go directly to finance, you're going to go directly to, some other area of the company,
The
that you can go
electricians, the
specifically to
engineers.
that person without having to have a third party conversation through the PM. You can just go directly to finance and say, hey, what's going on here? And get a ticket sent to them instead of having to have the PM kind of be the arbiter on both sides, like the intermediary, which makes sometimes the PM might not understand, or sometimes it might take a long time to get back to you or whatever. And so being able to contact them directly makes it a lot more efficient, I think.
Yep. I mean, so you can pretty much do a direct ticket to those departments. I forgot if that's implemented or if that's the goal or what. I want to say it's not live yet, but yeah, we run into. I mean, Brad had a question yesterday about span, replacing a main panel upgrade and relocation, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I don't know, right? I'm not an electrician, but that's where we could set a ticket directly to the electrical department instead of having to ask the PM. PM obviously doesn't know that answer, so PM's gonna have to go back, blah, 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 and then it takes 5, 6, 7 days to get a response. Now, boom, hey, electrician, can we do this? Me and Clay have had issues with like permitting and PTO and just kind of things like that on some projects, so hey, set a ticket directly to permitting department. Hey,
it's kind of a sacrifice for them because these people aren't used to getting inbound tickets in like a department like finance or in different areas. And so the project manager kind of does that, but the thing I took away, one of the biggest takeaways of the whole Powur world was that they are aware of the challenges that we're having and the delays and the difficulty, and that they are trying to do some things to remedy it. And so even though it's uncomfortable, finance doesn't want to get inbound tickets from sales reps, but it makes it so that the process can be efficient instead of back and forth with the PM, finally misunderstanding and incorrect assumptions and stuff. They just want to get straight to the point and get it moved forward, which I think is very intelligent, so they're not apathetic, they're not unaware, they care and they're trying to help, so that was a good thing.
I agree. And then I forgot the gentleman's name, but he's big in Powur. He actually, I believe he's a co-founder of Sunrun. And he moved over to Powur a few years ago. I forgot his name. He's
Ethan Miller.
Ethan Miller, yeah, Miller. So he went up and his whole thing was operations. One thing that they mentioned, which I think is huge, is Powur is now partnered with EagleView. If you guys know what EagleView is, that is actually like a very expensive engineering roofing application. Like I forgot what the cost is, but like we could buy it, but it's like $300 a month or something like that. But we now have EagleView, so that means roofing bids will be a lot quicker and more precise, and our pre-proposal designing will be a lot more precise as well, because that program, that app, all they do is azimuths and degrees and all that stuff with roofing. It does all those in-depth measurements. So so we do have EagleView, we do have access to EagleView now, which is huge. And with that, their goal obviously is to have 98% accuracy on all their site surveys and things like that. And honestly, I feel like we don't run into it too much to where like we design a system that's 10 panels and they go to engineering like, oh, we can only fit 7, right? I don't think we run into that too much, but that's just gonna be that much more precise. My thing too, obviously, is the roofing side as well. When selling a roof, that's going to be a lot more precise because I feel like almost every roof, and Brad can probably confirm, has turned into a change order. So that's even with us, kind of adding additional funds in there as well. So that's huge for us. Yeah, like I said, it's just a lot of faster permitting. So California just passed something to where every county, every major county or city has to have digital permitting. And so with that, they're going to have processes in place with that to make permitting a lot quicker for us as well. They have, okay, so the 40% reduction of install partners was by 10/1. So a couple more weeks, they're gonna drop the bottom 40% performing installers, which is huge. They're gonna hold a lot more accountability for underperformers. That's something that we feel that, like I said, sometimes some of these installers, some of these PMs, some of these other people aren't being held accountable for kind of making things that should take 5 days, take 2 months. Some of them aren't being held accountable, so they're aware of it, they're focused on it. And then improved installer transparency, alignment. Goal is 80% fewer post-acceptance changes. That's their goal as well. They talked about changes that took place in August, changes that are taking place in September. Let's see. Here's something. So calling every customer after Powur on in October 2023. So moving forward, after a customer gets installed, how many times does the customer go, what do I do? What now? Right? They're just kind of in a black hole. Powur wasn't calling them. I did not know that. But Powur was not calling them now as of October 2023, as of next month. They're going to have a department, and their only job is Powur on. Hey, customer, boom, boom, boom. Do you need help with your app? Do you need help with this? Great. Leave a review. Referrals, please contact Brad. Please contact Clay. Right. So they're going to have this process in place in October 2023. Once again, I mean, it's something simple, but just that's just going to help, right? Because a lot of our customers, I know, for all you guys that have sold deals, a lot of them just feel like communication and just a lot of things are lacking from the Powur side, and they are implementing these changes. Faster support as of 8/23, so they've already implemented that, obviously. There's going to be a new integrated phone and SMS system as well in October 23 for text messaging. I believe it's for direct text messages, I believe, to their to PMs and things like that. So they have a bunch of stuff that they've implemented, are implementing here in the next 60, 90 days as well. And they are okay with dealing with problems, but so that they don't want to deal with the same problem twice, right? If we run into issues, run into problems, fine. They don't want to deal with the same problem twice, which, sometimes we've seen the same problem a few times. Ethan Miller, feedback, Brad, Terry. I know Terry has to go in a little bit. Brad, go ahead.
I didn't see it, actually. I wasn't there.
Oh, hey, you had your call. Yeah. I know Brad was bummed about that. He had a call at that time, and it was really good. Really positive stuff. I mean, his main takeaway is they are aware of the operational issues, and they are working on things, investing a lot of time and money in fixing it. They are using this time wisely. I say summer, usually you want to sell left and right. We're just not doing that. So myself and Bo, we're trying to set up, relationships and lead relationships and things like that. That's where we're using our time with. It seems like Powur on their end, they're using it to really dial into operations and communication. Just kind of places that have been lacking for the last, 2 to 3 years or so. Jonathan Budd went up. Next lightning strike was there is a new lease partner named Everbright. So there's a new lease and PPA partner called Everbright. I forgot what the major things was. Okay, so it's in Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, Maryland, New Jersey, Ohio, and Texas. Apparently the pricing is better than Sonova. There's a full warranty built into place with no extra cost, no extra adder. Easier credit approvals. And they will, okay, so I didn't know this, but okay, so Enphase has an option to where you don't have the backup, you just essentially have the battery just to kind of act as your net metering, right? But if the grid's off, your home is still off. And that's like a $3,000-$4,000 cheaper option than doing a full-on battery backup. And let's say the customer's in an area where there's no blackouts. but the net metering isn't as good. You can kind of do that as like a cheap solution. Forgot what the exact price is. Maybe like 6 or 7 grand or something like that. I don't know. But I did not know this, but Sonova will not fund those. You have to do like a full on battery with the backup. Apparently Everbright will. So they're saying like in California or some of these areas that have just bad net metering, you just kind of want to replace their net metering, a battery just kind of do that communication backend stuff. This is the cheapest option. That this is the cheapest price that you can do that. This is the most savings you can show a customer in parts of Texas, in parts of California, in parts of Colorado, in parts of Utah that maybe don't have good net metering reimbursement or anything like that. So that apparently is the cheapest option that we could do. Brad, anything on Everbright?
I just had a question. With Everbright and with Tesla Powerwalls and just TPO, I mean, these trainings they talked about, are those active now in the Power University? Do you know?
I know the TPO training's live right now. You can go in there now and you can do the TPO training, and they have an extensive TPO
Everbright
training.
and Tesla Powerwall.
I don't know if it's Everbright specifically. I don't know if Tesla's in there yet, and that's why I kind of want to have the training with us sooner than later. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. Spencer actually just texted back. Okay, Spencer needs to meet earlier. Okay.
There's
No. I got a note right here. It says certification is live now. So I got a note right here at the bottom of my notes. So okay, Everbright certification is live now. We should be able to go into Power Live or Power U or whatever and get the Everbright certification. Some of you guys tier 2 and tier 3 should have already gotten an email, like a welcome email from Everbright as well. You got one, Clay? Okay, so that's what it is. Fill it out, get all that going. Account creation.
They with Everbright that there was an internal team of experts that would review for the best option for your specific customer. And then also that you could request it from them. So we don't have to wonder, was this good for Sonova? Is this good for Everbright? But
Right.
there's people internally that will
kind of
recommend the best option for us, which I thought was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's an internal team of experts. Yep. And then you can request a TPO proposal, apparently directly from the Power portal as well. So positive stuff there. JC Rangel, who I met in person and interacted with him a few times. He's actually a really, really cool guy. He went up there and he talked about mindset, top mentor, get to versus don't have or versus have to, right? We get to help our homeowners, we get to be a mentor, we get to be a tier 2, we get to do this, we get to do that. It's kind of mindset, right? A lot of mindset stuff. Talked about his background. He was a legal immigrant when he came to the States. His mom had 5 or 6 kids, and he was the only one that stepped up to retire his mom. So he actually retired his mom a couple of years ago because of the Power platform. So really powerful stuff, really good stuff. Altitude determines attitude determines your altitude. Excuse me. Attitude determines your altitude. Wait a second. And then your attitude and your actions are the 2 things that you can control, is your attitude and your actions. Talk about the book, The Slight Edge. So if any of you guys are readers or Audible listeners, The Slight Edge. So I recommend it. I got it on my wish list right now on Audible. He talked about, and he talked about your comfort zone is your broke zone as well. So if you're comfortable making 50K a year, that's your broke zone. If you're comfortable making 100K a year, kind of all that stuff. So your comfort zone is your broke zone. A lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. And to Terry's point earlier as well, he talked about a lot of short steps, but having a long vision, right? Short steps, long vision. This can be a 18-month, 36-month process. Take short steps to get there, right? Brad, any feedback on JC? I know you had a really good interaction with JC as well, kind of offline.
Yeah, no, he was pretty cool to me when I came up to him and I started talking to him saying, hey, I've really gained a lot from your recruiting. I've done solar sales, but like your recruiting and he was just really nice. Yeah, he was there with his son. He's like, thank you for coming up. I really appreciate that. It means something to me, and he just seemed like a nice guy, He said, you have to remove the emotion if you're going to get the job done. He said, remove one brick at a time. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. These are some quotes I wrote down. He said, persistently and consistently apply the correct actions and time will either promote you or expose you, you know, and then just be coachable long enough until you get to your vision. So just having he seemed to me, he's done so well, but he talked about how he puts his family first and everything, and he's trying to work, and he just impressed that he's able to have a good life, even though he's being very successful in power. He's not all obsessed with power. He's like, I can do this, yet still his number one priority is his family and God and whatever. And so I was impressed with that about him. He's like a good guy, you know,
I agree.
just a person.
Yep. And I interacted with them. He's open to doing a training with us as well. He has a really good YouTube channel as well. We'll probably give it a shout out when we have training with them. But yeah, so very excited for him when we can get him on the training. So we'll look out for that. And then Bud went up and talked about enterprise enhancements. They talked about that. The leads have increased 71% month over month since they launched enterprise. And the contracts have increased 15% month over month since they launched enterprise as well. Value proposition, obviously, for enterprise for these businesses. And remember the kind of the pitch or the approach with it is like, hey, you're an HVAC company, you want to break into the solar industry. How much is it going to cost to open a warehouse? How much is it going to cost to you sell a deal for 30K? But obviously, we know that Sunlight or Goodleap, whoever, is not paying M1s. And material costs 20K, right? And your labor costs 5K, and this, that, and the other. How are you going to pay for these things? Powur will cover all that besides the labor, but Powur will cover the cost of material. Powur will cover cost of permits. Powur will cover cost of engineering, all these costs, right? And then you're getting the cost of goods model similar to us. We see all those costs. Powur's able to get panels dirt cheap. Powur's able to get this dirt cheap. Span, you think everyone else has 15% off span, you know, main service panels right now? No, Powur was able to get that based on volume. So yeah, so COGS, preferred partner, professionals, a custom suite that you can customize with and back end, automated proposals, automated team commission. That's another thing. Powur handles payroll. If they're in the enterprise and they have this organization, they have reps and they have a secretary and they have this, that, and the other. Powur will handle the payroll. For any of you guys that ran a business, 1099 or you know, employees, payroll's a huge cost. Payroll's a huge time consumer. Powur handles all that. You set it up like what Terry said, 0 to 100. Hey, the secretary that's doing all the proposals and doing all the PM stuff and is communicating with the PMs, she gets 5 cents a watt or something like that, right? And this closer, he gets 40 cents or 40% of the commission, whatever, right? You can set all that on the back end, and Powur will handle it. Powur will handle the tax docs at the end of the year, all that good stuff. That's huge as well. Yeah, and then the purchasing of the equipment, they handle storage. There's a revenue share, there's equity options, all that good stuff. It's a huge value proposition for businesses that are either struggling in solar or trying to break into solar, or completely different, organizations, right? Mortgage brokers and lenders and pest control, pool guys, just kind of all that stuff. Co-branding on vision proposals. There's a new piece, there's team assignment as well now. So you can assign things to teams, as Terry said, 0 to 100% of the revenue can be shared. You can set different seats. You can have individual compensation settings. Vision proposal setting. Another thing too, some of these organizations, right? Maybe they have 20, 30 sales reps or whatever. They want the organization to be paid and they want to handle payroll. They could still do that, right? A lot of these companies are like, oh, I'm partnered with this installer and they pay me X amount per sale. And then they break it down however they want in the back end they could still do that as well, right? But arguably in some situations, we're probably making more money through Powur because of the COGS model. We're probably able to cover more area because of the COGS model, because of the platform, right? So it's just very advantageous for things like that. Terry, Brad, any feedback on that? Okay.
Yeah, just kind of what you said, a couple things. It was good that Terry had said this earlier, just the co-branding, you could have your co-branding with your organization's logo, co-brand the vision proposals, co-down the organization name. So that was pretty good. And then it just the flexibility. Do they want to just have people sell on our platform and they collect the money for it? Or do they want to have more control and be able to, kind of dictate what people get paid, but then they have a relationship with Powur. So it's kind of the flexibility made it so that it could apply to a lot of different kinds of companies, and they have a whole team, Rachel McDonald, Abigail Hensley, and Paris Bibal, where they are going to they're going to actually help us to close deals and help us. If you don't know much about enterprise and you're a little bit confused, just bring them the opportunity and they'll lock it down for you. So there's a whole like back end that this is a big part of Powur. So they're really giving us additional resources, additional people to be able to get it done. If we have some challenges or concerns about, I don't know how to close an enterprise deal, what do I do? They'll help us do it.
Yep. And with that, I also have Paris's phone number. He's an account manager for enterprises. So I know if we're trying to approach an enterprise, or if an enterprise already signed up, I know Terry has signed some up. I know Bo, I know Clay. We worked on a couple enterprises together. Paris can kind of be in our corner and help us out, right? Because kind of that's another thing too. Like, okay, I'm an enterprise, now what? Get Paris on the phone, right? Get Paris on the phone, and he can kind of help get you through that and help coordinate with an enterprise as to what the next steps are. So we have access to that. That's huge, I feel, because I know Bo, he onboarded like 3 enterprises in 1 month, and he'd call me up like, oh, what should my enterprise do? I'm like, I don't know, I'm not an enterprise. So yeah, that's huge right there. And then we did the Robbie Richmond thing, which is interesting. I don't know if Terry, Brad, you guys want to talk about that. That was pretty interesting. I think Terry might be on the phone right now, or Terry, go ahead.
No, I was. That was really neat. If you don't know who this person is, I didn't know who it was, but in a nutshell, he's
a psychopath. Okay.
So what he did was he basically said, hey, this is red pill guy, right? That you're referring to?
Yeah, the Matrix.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So he basically decided that he wanted to do a test and see if people would actually, in the Matrix, that's the red pill and the blue pill, what will you take? And he basically wanted to see would anybody take the red pill. So he tried to think of where could he go where it would be an imaginary place where he wouldn't have to do anything legal to get this, people to take this red pill. Like where could he put this out there and people not think he was nuts or want the information for ingredients or anything like that. So he decided that the most imaginary place that he could probably pull this off would be Burning Man. So he went to Burning Man and he showed us a picture of the Instagram of what Burning Man looks like and then what reality looks like. So he knew that there was people there running around in crazy outfits and running around naked or half dressed. And so he decided to look completely different than everyone else. So he looked like the CIA. So he went in a black suit with a white shirt and a black tie and dark glasses and walked around offering people the red pill and to see if they would take it. And it was just a red Tic Tac, but he put it in a medicine bottle with a Burning Man logo on the bottle. And he walked through there to see, will anybody take this pill? And people were taking this pill. And he was telling them before they did, he would say, this is going to change your life. You're going to have a breakthrough when you take this pill. And it's going to be just amazing when you take this. And so he would give this statement of intent that this is going to give you a breakthrough and it's going to change your life and you're going to come up with new ideas. So these people were out of their comfort zone. They're in this crazy environment and they took the red pill. And all of a sudden he had people coming back to him for more red pills. And he was saying, to himself, it's a red Tic Tac. What do you mean? But he would say, why do you need another red pill? And they would tell him, because I had a breakthrough. I own this company. I couldn't figure this out. And I had a breakthrough. And his thinking was, we're in the desert. And so you're away from everything. You probably would have had this breakthrough anyway. But it was in their mind that this pill was going to give them new ideas. And so they were open to the new ideas. And so people just through the event kept asking him for pills. So he was thinking, I might be onto something here. So when they all went back home, he ended up getting a phone call from somebody and they were saying, are you the guy with the red pills that was at Burning Man? And he was like, yeah, I am. And why are you asking? And she said, I need some more of those pills. Can you send them to me? And he's like, why do you need more pills? What's going on? And she goes, well, it works and I'm a therapist. And so I started giving out the red pills that I had and everybody's getting breakthroughs. And I'm having people that are really, I mean, they're getting counseling from her, and all of a sudden they're having all these personal breakthroughs. And so I need some red pills. And he was thinking, this is just but that power of suggestion with that intent statement. And so he started working on that. And behind him was this wall of testimonies. And there was famous people on this wall of testimonies that they've taken this red pill and it just changed their life. And they had breakthroughs as well. And so he decided to see what would happen if he uh you know did this on a bigger scale. So he was talking to one of his friends and he's like, okay, I'm going to put this in a white bottle and I need a name for the pill. What should we call it? And they said, well, duh, take a pill and the name will come by itself. And he's like, okay, I'll do it. But it did. He named it the X pill. And so he bottled the X pill. He went to a vitamin company and told them he needs a placebo. And they were like, oh, we're happy to help you create a vitamin, but a placebo we can't do because that's illegal. So he said, well, what's in a vitamin other than the vitamin itself? Like, what's the filler? And they said, oh, it's red rice bran. And they said, okay, I want a red rice bran pills. And so that doesn't do anything to you. So he bottled it, but he said, instead of a red pill, I want it to be the combination of red and blue. And so people are getting both of them. And so I want it purple. And so that's what he did. I had a bottle of it out here on my counter. Yeah, there it is. That he's got one. So he made the purple pills and is selling them, and then collects the testimonies of everybody that's had a positive increase or change in their life. And they taped them to the bottom of the chairs. And so Anthony was making fun of me because I've got my husband and I got 3 kids here at home. So I was like, I need 4 bottles. And so I started crawling on the floor to the empty chairs. Taking the extra bottles so I could do this at home with my family. But I'm excited to see. So we all took the purple pill at the event, and I'm excited about the changes. The most important thing that he felt with this pill is that you have to have a clear intention of what you want to do. You don't just like take the pill and that's it. It was a mindset of I am going to do this and achieve this. And so I think Anthony or Brad, somebody was asking, what if I knew what I was going to do for my intention. And I said, yeah, we have a vision board on our wall and I know what's on those cards. And when we accomplish one of the cards on the vision board, I'll like write done on it, and then we'll post it up at the top so we see our completed visions. So yes, I have that on there. So if you decide that you want to try it with red Tic Tacs, if you don't have a purple pill, is just think about what is your goal, what is your intention, and then you don't speak it in a negative form like I won't smoke or whatever it might be. It is I am healthy, I am a healthy person, or I make $100,000 a month, or whatever your intention is. You want to say it in a positive way, kind of like a vision board. You want to say it in a positive way of what you own. Jim Bunch was a part of. I spoke with Jim while we were there, and I was we did kind of a side note. We did a motivational type of training in the middle of COVID with goal setting. And Zach actually did an entire program on like just positive thinking and how to change your life. And we happened to, create this program for people. We had like hundreds of people in our training, but anyway, so it was free. But when we were listening to a speaker after that, and they were talking about mindset and kind of vision boards and things like that, one of the coaches for them was Jim Bunch. And I thought it was a new thing Jim was doing, but it was actually 17 years ago, and they still had his picture and his website up there. But the speaker, I think his name is John Arnault, he was talking about how he had a vision board, and it had a house on it, and he was moving and ended up packing up the vision board and put the stuff away. And when they had it in his office at his house, one of his kids came in and said, "What's this box?" And they said, "Oh, it's my stuff from the other office," and the vision board was inside it. And when they were taking out the stuff, his dream house on the vision board was actually the one they were in right now. And so he had put that on his vision board as like, this is what my dream house would look like. But he never realized he actually bought the house that was on his dream board. And so that was kind of a neat story. So it's the same concept as that, where you want to have your intention down before you take that red tic tac. And I thought that was just absolutely fascinating, but it was a lot of fun. And I am excited to hear the stories for people that were there that took the pill.
Yep. And yeah, I do have the pill right here. I did take mine, but I did steal an additional one underneath the chair. Not steal. Terry's
They
gonna
were
rebuke me.
free pills.
They
We
were
just
free
happened
pills.
to
Yeah, they were free
harvest.
pills.
We did farming.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and that's pretty much how it ended. Jonathan Budd went up there and kind of closed us out from there. He announced the next Power World will be in Orlando in September of next year. And yeah, pretty exciting stuff. And then also it's kind of cool. He grabbed a couple people and he locked arms with them. It was just like, let's all lock arms and nothing could push us. And then like Jim Bunch went up there and a bunch of people went behind Jim Bunch. And then our whole row locked up. And then we're like, oh, let's go over here. And so we kind of linked like this huge human centipede. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but this huge human centipede like throughout kind of the building, which was kind of neat. And we're all trying to coordinate. Oh, come on, link up right here, link up right here. So it was pretty cool. We had a really long line of 600, 700, 800 reps or so, which was pretty cool. And yeah, no, it was good.
I just wanted to say one thing. Terry's explanation about the expo was great, and that was it was a great experience for me too. And I was reading. I read books sometimes, and I was reading Brian Tracy. He's had a book on goals, and he talked about this, and I think it kind of relates to the expo, where he says that in his book that people that are successful think about what they want and how to get it most of the time. And unsuccessful people think about what they don't want and what they want to avoid in their life most of the time. And so if we think that we think in a way like, I don't want to be poor, if you're thinking about that, you're probably going to be poor. If you think to yourself, well, I don't want to be fat, I don't want to be depressed, you may have those things. I don't want to be alone, and so if you think in a negative way, you get negative things because that's what occupies your mind most of the time. But if you focus on what you want, I'm going to make a lot of money this year. I'm going to make $200,000, whatever your number is, or I'm going to find the love of my life, or and you think about what you want and you focus on how to get it, then that becomes the dominant point in your life. And so I think this X pill kind of gives people like permission to not have to be in the state of managing their lives and having to feel like, I don't want to do this, but I have to stay into a point of like, well, I can actually do whatever I want. I can get this if I really want to. So they give themselves permission to actually ask for what they want. And so they're more likely to get it. So I think we have to just be cognizant. Are we focused on what we do want or what we don't want? And the X pill helps us focus on what we want instead of what we don't want. That was my take on it. Just kind of thinking about that in relation to Brian Tracy,
Yep. No, it's positive stuff. Overall, great experience. It was, I told Brad and I told Lolita and the others that went, like, there is, a lot of fluff or whatever, right here and there, and a lot of cotton candy and stuff like that. But really, I mean, a lot of it are just the connections, the updates on the operations, the updates on just kind of where they're going. A lot of that is just, it's huge, right? It's huge. And honestly, a lot of it too is it's great for all of us to kind of connect and get together. I had the pleasure of meeting Lolita's husband and 3 boys, beautiful family. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that really, really makes these conventions really worth it. So with that, next year, September, Florida, Orlando, I think I'm going to be there. I'm pretty confident I'm going to be there. So got to coordinate with the wife and stuff, but
it seemed like on this thing, if you came with a goal of what you wanted, like if you said, well, I need to find a way to get leads, there were people there that were that wanted to team with you on leads. If you wanted to find someone who knows how to recruit, there'll be people who could help you figure out how to recruit, or
Yep.
how to door knock, or how to, be able to understand Power better, or installers that could explain to you some of their challenges and what they do and how they can work better with you. And whatever your thing is with Power that you like or you don't like or whatever, that you could find people there that would kind of fill the gap and fill the void of what you're doing. So the networking was so valuable, because whatever you're looking for, there's people there who either have similar challenges or have the solutions to your challenges, and you could
Have
network
found
and
the fix.
make it happen,
Yep. I agree. So yeah, and with that, hour and a half. Appreciate you guys staying on. I figured it'd be about an hour and a half or so of updates, but yeah, a lot of positive stuff. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, these are, they had changes and they had updates that they said, would pretty much go through to December to early next year. So I do think between now and probably March or so, it's still gonna be a little slow, but I think next spring and summer it's just gonna explode, and we're all gonna have the best year in solar we've ever had. So I do believe that. So and I am confident with Power that they are making the necessary changes and they are focusing on the correct things to kind of get it better for us, not for them, but for us. So I think that's huge. But with that, appreciate you guys. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your efforts. Thank you all for your activity. And love every single one of you guys. And peace out.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.